As the webinar is going. So, hello everybody, my name is Ilan Asbel. Thank you for joining me today in our webinar. Excuse my slightly husky voice. Got a little bit of the flu, but I'm hoping you can all still understand me. Today's webinar is going to be very short and sweet. It's about well, I think that probably one of the most widely used tools at Autochartist, but it's also one of the simplest tools, and that's the email reports that we send out every morning. And so I'm just going to quickly walk you through those email reports and what type of information you can expect to find on them. And then I think the webinar will take a total of about 10 minutes, 15 minutes at most, and then we'll have a few question and answers towards the end. So I won't keep you much for a very long time. So when you log into the Autochartist application, you might see something like what you see on your screen at the moment, which is our favorites if your broker provides that. Otherwise, you will have a screen that looks like this, which is the trading opportunities. Now, if you look across your screen, there is a heading called a menu item called Messaging and Alerts. If you click on that Messaging and Alerts section within Autochartist, you will see a screen that looks something like this. Depending on which broker you have, you might only have one line item here, or you can have multiple line items. Depends on the broker you're with. What this section, Messaging and Alerts, allows you to do is to set up certain emails to be sent to you, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is actually show you this section called the High Impact Economic News. So what this section will allow you to do is to actually get an email from Autochartist about the high impact or market moving news events that are coming up during the day, right, for the next 8 hours. So you can have that sent to you before the open of Tokyo, before the open of London, or before the open of the US session. And what you can do is, I live in the US, I will click on US session, English, and then I can click save, and then it'll tell me thank you for subscribing, and I will get an email address to my email address, which is listed on the top left hand side here, in the morning before the opening of the US session. Now, what this email will look like is quite simply like this. It'll have the upcoming news events in my time, right, in my time zone. I have set my time zone to be America, Chicago, right? And so I would actually get my events coming up in my central daylight time, right? Now, of course, there'll be links to this in this email to add these to your Outlook or your iCal calendar if you're using a Apple device, or if you're using a Google calendar, you can add it to your Google calendar. So a rather simple email of the high impact events coming up on that day. But the focus of today's session is primarily on what we call the daily market snapshot. And the daily market snapshot provides you an outlook, a technical outlook on the markets for the next 24 to 72 hours. And I'll show you a preview of that in just a moment. But the first thing you will see is that you get a list of types of reports that you can actually subscribe to, right? So there's a Forex report, a London Stock Exchange report, New York Stock Exchange report, a German stock, a DAX report, futures report, Australian markets report, Indonesian stock exchange report. So these are the reports I have. Obviously, I have numerous reports that you wouldn't have access to because I'm using a demo version of Autochartist. Your broker would offer probably, I'm guessing at most, between 1, 2, or 3 different types of reports, primarily Forex, indices, and futures potentially. And what you can do from here is, if you want to subscribe to one of these reports, you can actually click on the report that you want to subscribe to. I'm subscribed to the Forex report. I choose the session that I want to get the report on. Despite the fact that I live in the United States, I actually subscribe myself to the European report. I find that it's better for me because a lot of the Forex action happens during the European session, and so I like to get my European session reports, and also the reports themselves contain slightly longer term forecasts, and I'll explain why in a moment. So by the time I get I wake up in the US and get my European report, I actually have a nice view of what I think is going to happen through the trading day. And my native language is English. I do speak a bit of Russian, but I don't subscribe to the Russian report because although I speak a little bit, I read like a 5-year-old, so it's going to take me a while to read the report in Russian. So I subscribe in English, European session, and I would go ahead and click save, and now I am subscribed. Of course, before subscribing to the report, you can actually preview what that report will look like, and by clicking the preview button, you will get a view of what the latest report that was published looks like. Now, what I'm going to show you is what this looks like in your actual email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly switch screens and show you what that looks like in your email. There we go. So this is, I use Gmail for our corporate mail. This is what the email looks like inside my Gmail. Obviously, I have the heading and the date and when it was actually published. And at the top of the report, I have a market summary, right? So I have upcoming high impact economic releases for the next 8 hours, which is the content is the same as the content in the first little email that I sent you, except the difference is that there's no iCal or calendar links here. The second section I want to show you is the market movements. So over the last 24 hours, these are the major market instruments and indices that have moved, right? So euro, dollar, yen, the pound, and the Swissy, and the Dow, Nasdaq, the S&P, FTSE, and the Nikkei, right? And so and so this is the kind of the latest market moves of the last 24 hours. Now, on the top right of the screen is a notifications panel. The notifications panel is a mechanism through which ourselves or your broker can communicate with you with important messages. So sometimes you'll get notifications about upcoming webinars. Sometimes you'll get notifications from your brokers about, deposit bonuses or, some kind of specials that they're running, product promotions. So mostly they're informational and not really that much sales stuff. So keep kind of a casual eye on the notification section and see if there's anything of interest coming through for you every day. Now, the real meat of the report comes in the lowest sections of the report, right, which is actually, the forecasts. Now, as you can see, the forecast that we make, this example here, AUD USD that came through this morning, it's a 6-hour forecast, right? Now, if you compare that to some of the projections we make on the Autochartist web application, you will find that the email reports don't provide the short-term opportunities. We would like nothing more than to offer people the short-term opportunities on the market reports. However, we found it creates a great amount of confusion amongst our users, primarily because the images are updated every 15 minutes. And so if we provided, let's say, a 1-hour forecast, but you open up the email a few hours later, what you'll find is that the price has already moved a substantial amount. And people always used to query with us, look, why am I getting my reports so late? The price has already moved. And our answer to that normally is, well, actually, we sent you the report on time, but you just opened it a few hours late. so it created a lot of confusion amongst our users. And so instead of trying to explain that, what we've done is we've acknowledged the fact that emails are sometimes not opened as soon as they come through, but rather, sometimes a few hours later when our users actually have a chance to open them up. And so we decided to make them less sensitive on time, and we provide a slightly longer term forecasts. So here is a 6-hour forecast on AUD US dollar. Here's another 5-hour forecast on pound yen, forecast on euro CAD, pound CAD, and so the list goes on and on and on. Okay. Now, I want to show you this this opportunity over here, which is the CAD Swiss franc. I want to focus on that, not because I think it's a good opportunity, but actually rather because I want you to focus on these little. I'm actually just going to move this to the side so I can get my drawing tools open. So I want you to focus on this little section at the end of the report, and you will find that some of the projections actually have these transparent candles at the end of the report, right? These transparent candles mean that this movement happened subsequent to our forecast, right? So we made this forecast. Well, these are 30-minute candles, and this is 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. We made this forecast about 4 hours ago on 30-minute candles, and so a bit of time has lapsed since we made this initial forecast, and so those candles show you what actually happened subsequent to our forecast. And we can see right now that subsequent to our forecast, the price went up a little bit in towards a projected a range, almost hit our forecast, has now turned again, and now moving up again. So certainly not a chance, not an indication that it's gone the wrong way. I think we still give it a bit of a chance. Certainly there's a support level marked by this orange line over here, level A, which is annotated on the bottom left of the screen. So certainly not a thing you should be, not a position you should be closing if this is an opportunity that you traded against. I think certainly there's a lot of opportunity for it to move towards its target level. Okay. Let me scroll up the screen a little bit to look at some opportunities which are more recent. I look at this AUD USD opportunity right now on the market report and actually show you what each of the fields mean and how to read them. Okay, so the first thing is obviously Autochartist provides the instrument on which the forecast is going to happen. And you know what I think? I think this pen is. I'm not sure if all of you are struggling to see that gray pen. I'm gonna change my pen color. If you just give me a moment on that, I think I'll make it bright pink. Okay, so let's see if that works. Aha, bright pink, much better. Okay, I hope you all can see what I'm circling now. But this is an opportunity on AUD USD. We provide a target level, right, a forecast level where we think the price is going to go, and that is matched by that line over there, right? This opportunity was formed on 30-minute data intervals, right? The data interval means that each of these candles in this graph represents a 30-minute time period. Okay, so if you think about that, our target period is 6 hours, 30-minute candles. That means that we're looking for this chart to hit that target within the next 12 candles or so. Right? Now, we also provide a little bit of text around it, right? So the text just explains what the picture explains, that there's an ascending triangle has broken through a resistance level. That's the green line is the resistance level at such and such a time, and a possible bullish movement towards the forecast price in the next 6 hours towards 0.7670. Okay. Now we'll also provide some supporting indicators. So, for example, there's an upward slope moving average. As you can see, there's a line over here, moving average line. We find that a moving average line that's in the same direction, that's sloping in the same direction as the breakout, increases the probability of the forecast being correct by quite a substantial amount. I think our latest research shows that it's over 15% increase in probability if the moving average is in the same direction as the breakout. Now we see a support level, right? It's marked A. This is the support level, marked A, right? So you can see quite distinctly that Autochartist has identified the support level at 0.7571, right? And you can see that the support level has been hit a number of times over the past few hours, right? So quite a distinctive support level. Now, what I normally say, some people like to use the support level as a stop loss. I think, for example, this support level is potentially very far out to be a stop loss. I would look more to the support level as potentially, if there's a turnaround back down from this resistance level that is just broken, then I would maybe potentially look at that support level as a new target. Certainly, just by looking at the chart, I would say, and I'll change my drawing color again to orange, I would say that this level over here, which is around 0.76, would be quite a good stop loss level, because you can see there's been quite a lot of consolidation at this price level. And so what I would potentially do is, if you choose to go long on this opportunity, potentially set a stop loss at about 0.76, which is a nice level because it's also a round number, and that's always a good indication of support and resistance of these round numbers. Okay, now let me show you a different opportunity, because I want to highlight a different supporting indicator. So what I also want to show you is this opportunity on EuroCAD, and I specifically want to show you this over here, a resistance level over here, right? So you can see that in this opportunity we had both a support level, which is the same as the previous opportunity, as well as a resistance level. Okay, now this is important to look at, right? Because if you look at the previous opportunity, there was no resistance. Where was it? Here it is. There was actually no resistance level, right? Only a support level. We don't know where the resistance is in that price, right? We only know our target. Whereas in this opportunity, there is both support and resistance levels. Okay. Now, one of the things you'll notice about this opportunity is that the target period is 8 hours, but the data interval is a 15-minute data interval, right? So this is a slightly denser opportunity. You can see a lot more candles, double the amount of candles in terms of density, right? So again, keep an eye on both the support levels and the resistance levels of these types of opportunities. Okay, that is actually what I want to show you in this presentation. What I also want to just mention is that obviously what you should be doing is not trading completely off these email reports, right? Of course, you need to go into your Autochartist application and actually look at your trading opportunities, right? So if we look at our trading opportunities and let's say take the first opportunity as an example, AUD/USD. Let's order our instruments by oops. I wonder why that's not coming up. Am I using two different versions potentially? Give me one moment. I wonder why there's no correlation. It could be slightly outdated. Okay, let's look at this opportunity here, GBP/JPY. Here's an opportunity on GBP/JPY, and so what we can look at is the same opportunity happening in real time on the actual trading application, right? So here is I ordered my trading opportunities by GBP/JPY. We can see that we made this forecast up to 182.34, right? But it looks like it's actually turned around again, right, in the last 2 hours, and it's actually moved towards a quite a strong resistance level over here that's touched numerous times. So interesting to see what happens. It might turn back around, or it might break through. Certainly there's potentially two opportunities coming up here, either a rebound of the support level or a breakthrough on the downside, right? And what we can also do is look at some of the other opportunities that happened on GBP/JPY. We'll look at the longer term opportunity. Now this is something very interesting, right? So now we see that this is a 4-hour opportunity on GBP/JPY. Okay, now a 4-hour opportunity on GBP/JPY, a head and shoulders, right? So this is a longer term opportunity, and then the Autochartist provides a short-term opportunity, right? So many people would ask how to trade something like that. I would definitely say, firstly, the longer-term opportunity based on the longer time frames would most certainly take precedence. A short-term opportunity would be seen, in my eyes, as speculative compared to the longer-term opportunity. Secondly, head and shoulders is an interesting pattern, because if you look at the performance statistics on the Forex market, if you look at the statistics on the Forex market for head and shoulders, over the last 6 months, we have identified 394 opportunities, head and shoulders, 329 of which hit their forecast region. That means over the last 6 months, 84% of our head and shoulder forecasts have hit their forecast region, right? And so one could look at these statistics and say, wow, given the fact that this is a longer term opportunity and it's a head and shoulders, you know, we could say that this is certainly, from our perspective, take precedence over any other opportunities that we have right now. So again, never look at just the email itself. Always dig in. You're getting the email reports for a reason, and obviously because you have access to Autochartist. So use the reports as a starting point, right? What's happening in the markets? Where are the opportunities? But then leverage off your access to Autochartist to do more detailed analysis about each of the opportunities. Never trade blindly. Okay. Wow, I spoke for longer than I thought, and so I think right now, if we could take some questions, and I see 1 or 2 questions coming through. Okay, so firstly, Ronald asked, he doesn't understand why the content is dependent on the broker. So Ronald, the answer, it's dependent on the broker because for 2 reasons. Firstly, the most important reason is that brokers have different access to different markets. There are certain brokers which have access to Forex markets, certain brokers which focus on indices and CFDs. So different brokers offer different markets, and so would have different email reports that could be subscribed to. Secondly, different brokers actually have different data feeds, right? So we actually have a different data feed for each of our brokers, right? So what that means is that the reports might look slightly different for every broker because the underlying data is slightly different. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so JP has asked a question about the trading opportunities. What is the orange exclamation mark? So I don't see an orange exclamation mark right now on my Autochartist, but normally what happens that when a new pattern arrives, you would get exclamation marks in this column on the left hand side. That means those are the latest new patterns that have come through. So those are the ones that you certainly need to focus on. Okay, so Mike has asked the moving average period. Mike has asked, this is a regular moving average or or other type of moving average. It is a simple moving average of 34 candles in length, Mike. Similarly, the period for the RSI is 34 candles in length. Okay. Wow, Mike is asking a lot of questions. Okay, Mike, you asked, when you're talking about the statistics, when you say it hit the forecast, does that mean at least one touch? Yes, that is correct. We mean one touch over the length of the pattern. So, for example, let me give you an example here. I will actually order my opportunities. So if we look at, give me one moment and find something I can easily explain. There we go. Okay, so if all of you can see this opportunity on euro dollar right now, there's been a breakout through a support level on euro dollar. Autochartist forecasts the price to go to 105.68. So now what we would do in evaluating our statistics, if we would say, okay, what is the pattern length? The pattern length is approximately that. We would map that onto the end of the pattern and say, if this price level is hit in this area over here, we would give ourselves a little tick mark. That means we have hit our forecast level. That, in simple terms, is how we calculate our statistics. Juan, you asked me about a specific broker. Now, Juan, in these webinars, I try not to mention broker names. So I would, if you could email our support people, it's support@autochartist.com, and we can give you a list of which brokers support our product. But the broker you asked for, as far as I know, is not a client of ours. But certainly if you give them a nudge from your side, asking them for our product, that would help us a great deal. Mark has asked whether the webinar will be available later. Yes, Mark, it will be. Wow, Errol, can you give me a hand here? I am drowning under all these questions. Are there any questions?
I see there's a lot of questions here.
Yes.
Look through them.
So Tan,
I think the next one,
Errol, while you're looking through, so Tan has asked, what does the gray block mean in Autochartist? So the gray block is a forecast area. Because the theory of support and resistance and chart patterns it's not a science, right? It's an art. It's more of a target area rather than a specific level. We have provided the specific level for you for ease of reading, but essentially it is a target region where we think the price is going to go.
Okay, Len, I think you can answer. I hope I pronounce this right. Pierce and Carol, I think they're asking similar questions. At what interval do you send out the recipients in a day? Obviously, when do you send out the emails in a day?
Is that Pius? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what is the best time to check the emails? That's Carol.
Okay, great. All right. So I think it's a similar type of question. So firstly, I'll answer Pius's question. So the emails are sent out. You can select whether you want it sent to you before the open of Tokyo, before the open of London, or before the open of the US session. Okay, so those are the 3 times of day. You can choose multiple reports to be sent to you. So you can actually have 3 reports sent to you if you want them. If you're a night owl and stay up 24 hours a day and don't sleep, then you can get all 3 reports from us, or you can choose one report. So in terms of the time of day to trade, the best time of day to look at the reports. So let me reference you to a different part of Autochartist to answer that question. If you look at the volatility analysis around forex markets, you can see quite distinctly that pretty much all experienced traders know, volatility in the FX markets happens. You can see this is my time zone, but during the UK session, right? So during the European session is when all the action happens in the forex markets. The US might be the leader in terms of stock trading and stock markets, but certainly when it comes to forex markets, the US is not the center of the universe. London is the center of the universe, and so without a doubt, you're going to see a lot more action happening during the UK session than you would during the US session or Asian session. Furthermore, if I highlight our performance statistics, and there is a breakdown by hour of day of the performance of chart patterns, you will very quickly see that chart patterns perform far better during the European sessions than they do during the US sessions, right? And that is true for both chart patterns as well as for the key level statistics. You will see very distinctly, again, European session results are far more lucrative than sessions during the US. So this is obviously, I didn't want to really plan on getting into this, but this is obviously one of the reasons why I also subscribe myself to the messaging and alerts for the European session, because I feel that those opportunities would potentially be far more lucrative to me as a trader. So I hope that explains that. Errol, while I was talking, can you highlight another question or two that I could answer?
Yeah, I'm just looking through them. A lot of them are questions about broker-specific questions that they have. So I think those they should just email support.
Okay. That's fine. There is an interesting one here I see from Joseph.
Yeah.
Please explain how to understand the volatility analysis. So Joseph, I did skim over it very quickly now. It's not really the main topic of this conversation, but I guess it's somehow linked when you try and understand which markets to subscribe to or which time zones to subscribe to for the reports. So I guess maybe I'll spend 5 minutes on this. If you click on volatility analysis, Autochartist will provide you the expected volatility for all different instruments that you choose, right? So I've got Euro US dollar here right now, and the way to read this chart here specifically is that the bottom axis actually describes the hour of the day. The axis on the left describes the price movement range. Okay, that means that, let me walk through one of the examples for you. At 7 a.m. Chicago time, I expect the euro dollar to move on average around between 35 to 40 pips, and with a 67% certainty between 25 and 50 pips, right? So that's what that means. So now if you look at this over a 24-hour period, you can see that most of the volatility happens during the European session, and a huge amount of volatility happens as soon as the US markets open for just 3 hours, and then the volatility drops again. Okay, now if you're looking for a volatility specific to right now, to this moment in time, we provide higher up a graph, which is what we call our the trumpet, because you can see it's the shape of a trumpet, which are a forecast for Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Chicago time, the price forecast, price range forecast for Euro USD for the next 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour, and 24 hours, right? So this is interesting when you start to look at potential stop losses and take profits, right? So let's just say, for example, we look at the trading opportunities. There was a nice euro dollar trading opportunity we looked at just a moment ago. Here it is. Okay, so we're there now. So here's a euro dollar trading opportunity. This is on 30-minute candles. It's 30 30, 15-minute candles, right? So now we forecast to 105.68. If we look at the volatility analysis on that, 105.68, we're thinking it'll hit it. If you're looking at this volatility analysis, certainly I think you would expect it to hit it somewhere in the next 4 hours. Okay, because you can see here, this is 105.72. This is 105.90, which is a little bit too short, so you wouldn't expect to hold it for an hour and hit that level, but there's probably a 67% probability of it hitting that level within the next 4 hours. So it kind of gives you an indication of where, how soon a price will be hit, right? So also it will give you a nice indication to say, look, I now know that the volatility potentially over the next 4 hours could go up to 10662, right? So if I'm taking that trade, I'll just go on to that opportunity again. If I'm looking at that trade, then my potential, so we said this is going to be hit in the next kind of 4 hours, and then our potential stop loss would be somewhere over there, right? Because that would be kind of our expected price range movement over the next 4 hours or so. So that's just a very brief example. I mean, we can do a whole webinar on the volatility analysis, but just an idea of how all of this stuff actually relates together. Errol, all the questions have completely streamed right by me. Is there anything else that I should be answering?
Yeah, I think a lot of them are questions that kind of like you've answered, and so I don't think there's anything pressing there. There's one from Balaji, which I don't know if you want to get into now because it's not a part of the topic.
Okay, I see that. Can you find the trend in trading opportunities like emerging completely? Okay. Okay, I guess we have 5 more minutes, right, Errol, until a 45-minute webinar is over. So I guess let me quickly go into that.
Okay.
So emerging completed. So let me just talk about emerging completed. Well, actually, it's asking about the length too. Okay, the length is very simple. If I'm looking at this opportunity here, the length is 30 candles in length. That means that 30 candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. 30 candles made up this pattern. So that's quite an easy one to explain. Now, you're asking about completed and emerging. Completed means it's actually breakout. We're actually in the process of renaming the word completed to breakout, right? So this, you can see quite clearly that euro-dollar has broken out through the support level, okay? And we forecast it down, right? Now, if we contrast that to emerging patterns, an emerging pattern, you can see that there has been no breakout as yet, right? So that is the difference between emerging patterns and breakout patterns, right? Completed and emerging. Now, what you can do is you can also actually filter by those. So if you only want to see your breakout patterns, then we can filter them out and your screen will change to only providing breakout patterns, right? And those are signified by the colored red or green arrows. As soon as you bring in the emerging patterns, you'll find that you get these gray candles. Those gray candles signify that this is an emerging opportunity and has not yet broken through a support or resistance level. Okay. So with that, I want to end off this presentation. Just quickly focus again, messaging and alerts, subscribe to it. Look at it, use it as a starting point from where you can actually get opportunities, right? And then use your access to Autochartist to dig in deeper and analyze the opportunity before you actually place a trade. And with that, I'll leave you. If you have any questions, also with regards to specific broker questions, please feel free to email us, support@autochartist.com. Thank you everyone for attending today's webinar.